Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. 2026 is gonna be a banner year for fighting games. Fighting games have been on fire as a genre for the last few years, and it's gonna keep burning strong. This year in particular is gonna be the biggest year for fighting games since Street Fighter 6 came out. Why is that? Well, we have so many new, great, and inventive titles that are dropping this year. And it's great to see a lot of new blood enter the arena. And also, there's been so many great fighting games released in the last few years, and the majority of them are getting even more content in 2026, be it balance patches, new characters, seasons, whatever. So in this video, we're going to be going over everything you need to know about fighting games in 2026. What's new, what's ongoing, a few things that might happen. Let's talk about it. So let's start with all new titles in 2026, and the first one to talk about is Invincible Versus. So Invincible Versus is a 3 vs 3 tag fighting game based off the very popular Invincible IP. It's also launching at the end of April, which sort of coincides with the 4th season of the show dropping. Co-marketing synergy, all that fun stuff, right? And as far as it being a 3v3 tag fighter, it's very much in the classical vein. You have your team, you build your team. Yes, there's absolutely assists. You'll be calling assists in neutral. You'll be calling assists in combos. Being based off of Invincible in particular, the game can get extra violent if you're into that. Also, there is some pedigree behind the team. A large portion of this team is actually the people behind the original release of the Xbox One version of Killer Instinct. And you can really tell that in the combo system. Lots of unique rules for combos, and not the least of which you better believe, given it's the Killer Instinct folk, that there is a combo breaker. It's gonna release at a budget price. There's an entire unique made for the game story mode, also made by the series creator Robert Kirkman. Fantastic online play, and just kind of a joy if you're looking for a team-based fighting game experience. And if you happen to enjoy the Invincible franchise, it's basically a no-brainer. And of the myriad of tag games, that released recently or coming in the future, this is the one where things get crazy because they got all the fun things like 8-way air dashes. So given all these traits, I think Invincible Versus is definitely a game to keep an eye out for in 2026. And hey, speaking of tag fighters, let's talk 2XKO. So 2XKO officially, finally comes out later this month in January. Yes, it's been playable for a bit, but it's been early access and it's only been PC. Now it's coming out for everything, and yes, that includes modern consoles. And also, this will launch with the first new major season of the game, which will be launching with the new character being the sniper Caitlyn. So 2XKO is now finally officially out and everyone can play. Look forward to it. Now here's a fun one, Avatar Legends the fighting game, which is named subject to change, by the way. So Avatar Legends had a proper debut, and it was a little mixed for a bit, and then it had its first playable alpha, or beta if you want to call it that instead, and people got their hands on it and they started really digging the game. Turns out it's fast, fun, frenetic. All the characters are very powerful in very fun ways with lots of options and lots of ways to play. This could be the new face of anime fighting games in 2026. Based off of the very popular Avatar The Last Airbender franchise, you'll have all the main popular characters from the shows, as well as other shows like Korra. Avatar in a bit of a renaissance lately, had a new major Magic the Gathering set. There's a new movie coming out sometime this year in 2026. There's also an all-new show coming out soon, sometime shortly thereafter. Avatar is back in a big way, and this fighting game, it's pretty good. I went in maybe a little skeptical and I got hands on the game, and I'm very impressed. For fans of the Avatar universe, they're promising an all new story inside the Avatar universe. Also fun things when you're playing, like, hey, they're promising best in class rollback netcode. We like quality online play around here, so big thumbs up on that. And there's also the fact that this is a proper pixel art game, right? These are not 3D models, these are hand-drawn characters. In this day and age, that's really rare and to be appreciated. Because, to be real, the reason why everyone switched to 3D is because it's cheaper and faster. So these are people dedicated to the craft of Avatar. If you like the Avatar franchise or just fast-paced 1v1 fighting games, This is absolutely a game you need to keep your eyes on in 2026. More fighting games launching in 2026? You betcha! How about Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls? This is a 4v4, yes, 4v4, not 3v3 or 2v2, 4v4 Marvel tag fighting game. And Marvel tag fighting games have a little bit of history to them, although this one's a bit different. If you're unaware, this is not Marvel vs. Capcom. This has nothing to do with Capcom. This is Arc System Works. This is the people behind Guilty Gear, the people behind Dragonball FighterZ. And they are making their own Marvel fighting game. So the base premise is simple enough. Pick many of the most popular characters of the Marvel universe, more to be revealed in time. As of the time of this recording, a giant chunk of the roster is still unknown. Pick 4 of them and beat each other up. That said, pick 4 characters and go. That's kind of scary. That's kind of intimidating, but that's actually one of the main selling points of this game is while you do indeed pick 4 characters, you do not need to learn all 4, at least right away. There is only a singular life bar for all 4 characters of your team, meaning it is not like other traditional tag-based fighters or say King of Fighters where you have to use all the members of your team. If you want to play it this way, where you pick your main character, say it's Iron Man, you pick your main character and you have 3 assists, you can play it exactly that way if you want. Naturally, as you progress, as you get better, you probably want to use more and more members of the team as just part of the game plan. But if you just want to learn one character right away, the game actively helps you and encourages that due to how the systems work. The game is beautiful, the game is bright, the game is vibrant. This is Arc System Works. They are masters of their craft. So if you're looking for a pretty fun fighting game to mash around on, this is definitely it. Also, if you're looking for a long-term investment, they have promised 10 years of support for the game. You know, fighting games get more support nowadays than ever, right? Like, you know, up to 5 years, 6 years sometimes. But 10 years, that's still saying a lot. So if you want a game you can put your time into, this is probably it. So look forward to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls launching later in 2026. So now let's talk about some of the fighting games that are ongoing in 2026. And a major one, perhaps the most major one, is Street Fighter 6. So Street Fighter 6 will be going into its 4th season in 2026. And there's going to be a lot more characters come. We're still currently in season 3. We still have Alex and Ingrid as of the time I'm making this video to go through. And I'm assuming the tradition will hold strong in that the last character of the season is actually the first character of the next season. So Ingrid will be the herald of season 4. Now, what will season 4 have? Assuredly, there'll be a new roster of characters to buy for the season, because that's how that works. There'll be some balance changes, but will there be big changes is the real question. Street Fighter 6 launched strong. That's very good. Certainly a sight better than how Street Fighter 5 launched, but it's also sort of the problem in that Street Fighter 6 has played it way too safe over the course of the lifespan of the game. And a lot of the major changes you would expect from a Street Fighter game over a game's lifespan haven't happened yet. And at this point, some people are kind of holding it up against the game. So will season 4 be the big shake-up season? You know, Super Street Fighter 6, Arcade Edition, Champion Edition, Ultra, whatever you want to call it, right? Is this the big shake-up where it's just more than a couple tiny balance changes and a few new characters? This is the year we're going to be getting an all-new Street Fighter film in theaters. And that's a big deal. There hasn't been a Street Fighter, a real Street Fighter movie, I'm not counting Legend and Chun-Li, since, you know, the Jean-Claude movie in the 90s, right? So you'd think with a whole bunch of new eyes on Street Fighter, they want to make sure Street Fighter 6 Season 4 is something big and special, at minimum to help capitalize on the new film. But I guess we don't know till we know. So Season 4 will begin sometime roughly in late spring. No exact dates just yet. Look forward to the patch, look forward to the new characters, whoever they may be, and hopefully look forward to some fairly significant changes to the game, like say new system mechanics or new super moves or something along those lines. So another fighting game that'll be ongoing in 2026 is Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, and its big changes are this month as I make this video, January. So Season 2 will begin in January, although we don't know when exactly yet. And what will Season 2 entail? Assuredly, hey, a balance patch, expect some new characters, but SNK's very adventurous in recent years. Some potentially big things are coming. Even in the first season, we had the Street Fighter collaboration. We had Ken and Chun-Li, and they're both great additions to the game. SNK did something which is unbelievable in fighting games, is they put out multiple characters ahead of schedule. Who does that? And then there's these cryptic animated shorts they've been putting out just kind of sporadically. Like, hey, here's the end of Fatal Fury 2, all the way back in the 90s. And they're showing Wolfgang Krauser being defeated by Terry Bogard. And Wolfgang died all the way back in the 90s. And now they're like, oh, by the way, he didn't die. Given that he's a Fatal Fury boss, this kind of is a big green light in that he's probably going to be one of the Season 2 characters of the game for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Teasing Mr. Karate and what might be Ryo or Robert, we're not sure just yet. They are making a new Art of Fighting game, so will Art of Fighting characters come to Fatal Fury as a bit of an advertisement for the new game, if you will? This is the company that put out entirely free character DLC for King of Fighters 15 for the super bosses, and they did that more than once. So when it comes to Season 2, yeah, expect a balance patch, expect, here's a Season 2 of whatever DLC characters, but expect it to maybe get a little bit weird and fun. Time will tell. But SNK, perhaps of all the major fighting game companies, has the biggest potential to surprise people. So looking forward to it. We'll see. Certainly more City of the Wolves on the horizon for 2026. Now, for games going strong in 2026, here's a game that kind of has to go strong, and that's Tekken 8. So Tekken 8, at some point in 2026, will have its third season of the game. And if you've not heard about Tekken 8 Season 2, it's one of the most poorly received seasons of video game history, let alone fighting games. It unfortunately did a lot of damage to the game and the brand of Tekken, but that's why Season 3 kind of looking bright in that it has the markings of making it the redemption season. Hey, yeah, we stumbled and now we're back stronger than ever. Impossible, you say? Well, it's done in fighting games all the time. Look at Street Fighter V. That game launched as an absolute train wreck, and by the end, that was a damn fine game. Sometimes games stumble a little bit. Once again, Tekken 8 Season 2 certainly stumbled, but going into Season 3, I can only hope for the highest hopes, especially because now there's going to be competition in the 3D space with Virtua Fighter 6, so Tekken is heavily incentivized to get their stuff together, or else lose their player base to the next 3D fighting game coming down the road. That said, it's no mystery. It's very certain that they know this kind of has to hit big. Now, will it? Well, I guess that's another question. That said, we'll see how it goes, what shape Season 3 will take. Will there be another major new guest character? That always tends to get people excited. And of course, there's a lot of classic characters that are still not in Tekken 8. Will they make an appearance? I guess time will tell. But yeah, so Tekken 8, hurt a little bit, but the soul still burns. Now, how about Guilty Gear Strive? So released in 2021, and here we are in 2026, and it's still gonna be going strong. Entering its 5th season, it's gonna be more than just a new season. There's actually major changes planned, because Guilty Gear Strive is getting rebranded to Guilty Gear Strive 2.0. And will there be new characters? Will there be a balance patch? Yes, but. So as far as a balance patch goes, it's going to be a lot more than just tweaking, +1 or -1 on the frame data. They're promising major shakeups to how the entire game works. Changing up entire system mechanics and how the game normally plays. Even the existing cast. Some of the existing cast is going to be reworked from the ground up. So they're going to be effectively new characters. And other existing characters are going to get all new moves. This is a huge, major shakeup for the game. This has always been one of the best fighting games for a beginner, 2 fighting games to get into. And now they're going to breathe all new life into the game. This is effectively a soft sequel to the game. It's still Guilty Gear Strive, but, you know, it's Guilty Gear Strive plus plus plus. So if you've been a lapsed player, it's been a while, now whenever 2.0 comes out, it's going to be a really good time to get in. And if you've never played, well, then also it's a really good time to get in. For an older game, the future's looking really, really bright for Guilty Gear. There's a lot of gas left in the tank. And speaking of gas left in the tank, also from Arc System Works and also going strong in 2026 is Dragonball FighterZ. Dragonball FighterZ is now 8 years old, and it will be getting new support in 2026. Not the least of it is it's gonna get an all-new character. It's gonna be getting Goku. Well, it's gonna be getting Goku. Of course it's gonna get Goku, right? But it's gonna be getting a very specific modern kind of Goku. That is to say, Goku Super Saiyan 4 version from Dragon Ball Daima, the most recent Dragon Ball animated property. We certainly ain't hurting for Gokus in the game, but a Super Saiyan 4 Goku that is actually Goku, it's not a fusion. That is legitimately a pretty big deal, and who knows what other surprises they might have down the road as well. Something to keep your eye out for in 2026. And of course, there's lots of games that might come out this year, they might not. We don't have solid release dates. One is the very recently announced Saturday AM Battle Manga. So this is based off the Saturday AM brand. I personally do not know much about the brand, but I do know the people that like it a lot. So that's good enough for me. Made by a small team, also a lot of people from the fighting game community working on the game. This will be a 2v2 tag fighting game, so lots of tag fighters in recent times, and this is also heavily inspired by some of the classic tag fighting games. So if you like your tag fighters, if you like the Saturday AM brand, this is one to look out for maybe in 2026. Big one to talk about is the new Virtua Fighter project. So whenever this finally comes out, it'll have been 20 years since the last main entry in the franchise. We've had some recent revisions of Virtua Fighter 5, including the recent Revo World Stage, which you should absolutely play if you have not already. But the new big title is the big one, especially because they're looking to sort of reinvent 3D fighting games. They're looking to do things pretty differently based off of what very little we know. The game will have a more proper reveal sometime later this year, and will it release later this year? We don't know for sure. There's a chance, there's also a good chance it won't, but I have to do my due diligence and mention it for the video, also just to shill Virtua Fighter. This is the franchise that invented the genre of 3D fighting games, and is one of the most important video game franchises of all time. Whenever the game does come out though, just rest assured, it's gonna be a big deal. So this is a bit odd to talk about because I'm not talking about a specific game because we don't know what that game is, but it still might happen, and that will be the new NetherRealm Studios game. So again, as of the time I make this video, nothing is announced. So if nothing's announced, how could it even come out in 2026? Well, because that's sort of how they work. Like, we're looking at Mortal Kombat 1 right now. Mortal Kombat 1 was released in September of 2023. When was it announced? It was announced of May of 2023. So it was announced and released in a half year. So what I'm saying is the game that we don't know what this game is could be announced a few months from now and launched later this year, because it's literally what they do as a company. Do not be surprised when this happens. The question is, what game will it be? We just came off of 2 back-to-back Mortal Kombats. We had Mortal Kombat 11, then Mortal Kombat 1. So you'd think the logic would dictate, oh, maybe it's time for Injustice now. But is it time for Injustice? Maybe not exactly. DC's been doing some very interesting things with their latest mega event, DC KO, which if you do not know what it is, it's basically getting all the characters together and they fight. Not surprising. But it's basically structured as like a fighting game tournament. Specifically, it's basically structured like Mortal Kombat, to the point where everyone fights everyone and there's a big boss at the end. And in this 100% canonical event, this is not a side story, this is not a what if, they're going to have some guest characters that make you scratch your head a little bit. Like Homelander, who was in Mortal Kombat 1. Yes, Homelander will officially fight Superman at some point. Or have a look at this big collage of people fighting together. We got some interesting people. Vampirella? Okay, my younger self is definitely very interested at seeing Vampirella. Red Sonja fighting Wonder Woman? Okay, sure, that sounds interesting. But then the plot thins. Cause here's Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Oh, okay, things are starting to make sense, right? Once again, this is not a side story, this is not a what if, this is a 100% canonical event that will have Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the same story as Superman. So again, maybe not Injustice specifically, but maybe some sort of DC fighting game, just DC in general. But then again, who knows? Cause I don't. It could very well just be another Mortal Kombat again, we'll see. But again, they have a very short turnaround time from announcing a game to the game actually launching. They announced and released Mortal Kombat 1 in just little over 100 days. So we might not know anything about the game right now, but rest assured it can still be out before the year's over. If you're watching from the future, and now you know what that game is, let's see if I was right. Put it in the comments if I was right or I was wrong. But again, we don't know, but we'll know soon enough and it'll be out soon enough. So that's a look at a lot of the fighting games of 2026. And of course, there's going to be lots of great indie titles throughout the year as well. So look out for those. Again, this is a very big year for fighting games. The genre is in its renaissance and it's not slowing down anytime soon. All your favorite games are getting updates and there's a whole bunch of new games to try out as well. So give one of them a spin. And if you feel I missed something, by all means, please post in the comments below. We're here to have a big loving for fighting games. I want every game mentioned. That said though, we are now at the end of the video. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.